All right, Rabbosai, good morning, good morning. Let us begin. It's an incredible schos, Baruch Hashem, to be able to resume our Musar Seder in the mornings. It's been a little while, Baruch Hashem, but it's good to get back into the swing of things. And now we're going to be using this slot for Mesillas Yesharim, at least for the next little while, specifically focused on the limud associated with the Hachzek Mesillas Yesharim program. So for those of you who have been learning Hachzek with us, a beautiful 5 minutes a day. Maybe sometimes more, 7 minutes, 8 minutes, sometimes 10 minutes. We had a couple of minutes each and every day, Mesillas Hashem, to be able to go through Mesillas Yesharim. Like I mentioned in the message, there are copies of Mesillas Yesharim available here in Shul. I actually posted a copy of just today's page on the WhatsApp chat. I'll bring out more copies in Mesillas Hashem a little bit later. So today we are continuing in Mesillas Hashem. Today, Tuesday, the 7th of Cheshvan, the 1st of November. We are continuing in Perek Tes, the 9th chapter. So the 9th chapter is titled Bebeir Mafside Hazrizos Farachal Kamehan. The midah we're focused on right now is the midah of Zrizos, bless you, the midah of alacrity. Alacrity, eagerness, and zeal. So the subject of this chapter are the particular character traits or the particular behaviors which go ahead and cause one to lose out or to diminish or to detract from the midah of Zrizos. So the Ramchal writes as follows: Od, mimafsidi hazrizosu. Another thing that detracts or prevents one from acquiring the midah of Zrizos, hurov hapachat v'godol hamora min hazman v'toldosav. So this is fascinating. Literally again is fear from what he calls hazman v'toldosav. Now I will say zman and toldosav he understands as meaning over here what? The weather. An overwhelming fear of, it's not just weather by the way, it's like of the natural world. What does this mean? Kipam yira me'akar o me'achok. I will say sometimes, because inevitably what's going to happen? It's going to be too cold, it's going to be too hot, upamim me'apigoim, upamim me'achaloim, or again, a person now, by the way, weather over here, he just means in general like being fearful of external physical impediments or obstacles. I will say, by the way, you see this, it's actually fascinating, by the way, you see this with weather and in general like weather forecasts. Right? Do you remember it was this past winter, they were predicting some major storm, right? A major storm, to the point that like, once again, there's hoarding and clearing of shelves. And I think it was one of these times where like, it wasn't like a snowflake. It wasn't even, in other words, we work ourselves up into a frenzy sometimes over the fear of the weather, over the fear of what's going to happen because of the weather, and as a result, we paralyze ourselves. We just simply paralyze ourselves. Now, pigaim, he points out, could be excessive rain, excessive snow, or sometimes it's because ultimately, again, of illness that could come associated with these weather situations. Too much wind, things like this. This is what Shlomo Melech said in Mishlei, that the lazy person says, there's a lion, right? Literally, or a lion cub on the road, a lion between the roads. The idea being that a lazy person finds an excuse why he's unable to go ahead and take the particular journey. It's dangerous, it's too hot, it's too cold, it's inconvenient. So again, so just to frame this, what Ramchal is saying over here is really something incredibly profound, which is that sometimes what diminishes or detracts from a person's ability to be a zoriz, to be a truly alacritous, eager or zealous person, is just a preoccupation with external circumstances, right? I'd like to accomplish, but it's too hot, it's too cold. I'd like to accomplish, but there's this situation, that situation. I'd like to accomplish. Shlomo Melech says, there's a lion on the road. I'll say, essentially what the Ramchal is saying is, if you need to get something done in life, just get it done. Just get it done. Don't get caught up in what the weather is and where the lions are. I mean, maybe if there are lions, you can get a little bit caught up. But the idea being, don't get caught up in external circumstances that you think are going to make your accomplishment a bit more difficult. Because the moment that you get caught up in those external circumstances is the moment that pretty much you give up on ever accomplishing anything. He goes on, he says, and Chazal explained that this preoccupation with the external, this preoccupation with the weather or other external circumstances is unfortunately, again, the behaviors of those who are sinners. Umikra Messiah, Pachadu b'tzion chatoim achazara adachinafim. Ad sha'amar echam min hagdolim al tamidu v'ra'oso so mispached. So it's incredible. It quotes over Gemara Maseches Brachos, where the Gemara says that the Gemara tells a story about one of the great Rabbanim who saw that his student was in a perpetual state of fear. He was always fearful of all the different external circumstances, and he said to his student, Chata'at, you must be a sinner. In other words, so we'll say, which is actually quite interesting. Part of the result of living a sinful life is a lack of security, a feeling of a lack of security. When a person feels insecure, there's no shortage to the things that can make you feel insecure. And when you feel insecure, by definition, you don't have the confidence to accomplish the things you need to accomplish in life. So, I happen to think that this particular piece happens to even be introducing to a certain degree a different dynamic, right? This over here is saying that halacha l'maisa, and this is so. I think we know this from our own lives. When I know that I'm not doing the right thing in life, and I know that I'm not living the right way, and I'm not engaging in the right behaviors, that engenders a sense of insecurity. And when there is insecurity, obviously it becomes like a cyclical reality. I then don't have the confidence to accomplish the things I really know I need to do. Now, how does that manifest itself? By coming up with a whole bunch of excuses as to why I can't do the things I need to do. Right? It's too cold, it's too hot, it's too this, it's too that. Conversely, when I'm doing the right thing in life and living the life I'm supposed to be living, engaging in the behaviors I'm supposed to be engaged in, something amazing happens, which is that breeds and yields a sense of confidence. Now suddenly, again, I feel more equipped to go out and actually accomplish the things I know I need to do. Which is why the Gemara says when this Tana saw in the Gemara that a student was constantly afraid of everything, he said, Chato'at, you obviously must be a sinner. And it's that sinful lifestyle that is eroding your fundamental ability to be confident in accomplishing the things you need to. It's such an incredible idea. So the Ramchal goes, They both say, it's incredible. That's the Darumelech writes in Tehillim, B'tach b'Hashem, have faith in Hashem, and get it done. Right? Va'asei tov, do good. In other words, accomplish what you need to accomplish. Go out, live the life you need to live, do the things you need to do. Klalo shel davar. The general rule, writes to Ramchal, is tzarich sheyasim ha'adam es atzmo aray ba'olam v'kavoa ba'avoda. It's really interesting because in this piece, Ramchal is really bringing in a kind of like a couple of different concepts within this one little piece. Look at this next idea. He says over here, that's the klal. The klal is that a person ultimately, again, should make himself aray, should make himself temporary when it comes to the physical world, v'kavua ba'avoda, and make himself established in the service of Hashem. Meaning what Rabbi say, you see, when there's something I know that I have a kvius, something that has to get done, something that is an obligation, nothing derails me from that. Nothing derails me from that. So in my service of HaKadosh Baruch Hu, I am kavua, I am set, I am established. This is something I have to do, something that has to be accomplished, and nothing, not the weather, not other nothing's going to derail me. Conversely, I'm aray ba'olam. In terms of physical circumstances, those are the things ultimately, again, that are not my kvios, and therefore by definition they will not hold me back from accomplishing. The Rebbe said now here is going back a little bit and focusing on yesterday's concept, which is ultimately, again, the other thing that derails a person from Zrizos is what? Is going ahead and being preoccupied with a pampered lifestyle. Right? When my goal is to be comfortable, if that's my goal, I don't mean like financially. My goal is just, I like to be comfortable. I don't like to be bothered. I like to be physically comfortable. If that's my goal, that fundamentally erodes the ability to be a zariz. So he's bringing this in as well. So therefore, again, a person should go ahead. Distance yourself from the need for a comfortable, pampered lifestyle and push yourself towards a willingness to work and exert oneself. Place your faith in HaKadosh Baruch Hu that no matter what physical obstacles may come about, He will help you overcome and transcend them. V'lo yira mitoldos hazman upegad. And do not fear some of the physical realities, ultimately, again, that could come up in the world that may make your life a little bit difficult. So I will say, just quickly, because we're over time already, but just to kind of combine this into one idea, what Ramchal ultimately saying is like this: there are two fundamental things which derail a person from acquiring the midah of Zrizos. Number one, a preoccupation with obtaining and sustaining a pampered lifestyle. Right? Because again, a pampered lifestyle is the antithesis of Zrizos. I'm not going to want to work. I'm not going to want to push myself. I'm not going to want to do anything that's uncomfortable, because all I want is to be comfortable and pampered. That's number one. Number two, says Ramchal, is a preoccupation with what's happening, like the circumstances in the physical world. And the Ramchal used, just by way of example, specifically the weather. Right? So a person who makes their plans fundamentally dependent on the Rebbe, it's incredible, by the way. I find this now with our building project. It is incredible to see. If it rains, it can't work. It can't work. For instance, and it's amazing to me, right? Or at least certain things. I shouldn't say everything, right? It's incredible to see. Now again, okay, that's a physical reality that they have to face that has to do with, okay, there are certain things that are confined or that are limited by the weather. So Ramchal says, bless you, don't become one of those people who their ability to accomplish becomes dependent on all of these stars aligning, right? The constellations, I need it to be 62 degrees with a northeastern wind at 3 knots. I need it to be like this. And if it's off, I can't do it. It's too hot, it's too cold, it's too snowy, it's too rainy, there's lions on the road. Don't be like that, says Ramchal. If there's something you have to accomplish in life, set your mind to it and accomplish it, no matter what the external stimuli may be. Also, we'll stop over here for today. So great to restart. Baruch Hashem, Ramchal, Shkoyach.